Tell us what's going on in terms of your work with the skinny bundles or the virtual MVPDs, and how, as a DSP, you integrate with folks like Dish and others.
Sure. Yeah, so they've actually been incredibly strong partners for us. I think with them really bringing the concept of linear television to the internet from a consumption standpoint, there's a natural fit there for companies like ourselves to partner with them in order to access the inventory that they have. So we've got really strong partnerships with Dish through their Sling product, and really we access their inventory the same way that we access anything else that's digital. So because that's connected to the internet, it's something where we can access it programmatically, we can bid against it. It works through RTB, which makes it a really natural fit for companies like ourselves to allow access through our platform for our advertisers and agencies that use us.
Great. So tell us about sort of the demand side, the marketers, the agencies, the advertisers themselves who are keen to be involved with this, this inventory.
Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, it's kind of everyone, and it's for different reasons. So our client base is made up of both, large holding company agencies and their brands, as well as smaller independent shops, and even, other digital solution companies that are built on top of us. I think when you talk about the larger holding companies, this is this type of inventory, this type of connected TV, OTT inventory that Sling brings, or a partner like that brings. It's super desirable because it's addressable, it can be purchased programmatic, you can maintain all of the buy-side decisioning. So we see a lot of our clients leaning in and doing kind of what they did a few years ago with mobile and even further back with programmatic, where they're trying to really design their own way of saying, well, how do I plan this sort of media and how do I measure the success? And I think we're kind of in the middle of that right now, where you've got TV investment teams, digital investment teams, programmatic teams, all sort of collaborating to try to figure out what that looks like. But the general theme is that there's a lot of demand. It just keeps kind of going up and up in terms of the desire to access it, because there's so many advantages versus maybe a traditional television that doesn't have some of that addressability. When I think about some of our other clients that are maybe smaller, like the independent shops that I named earlier, for them, this is the first time to actually buy television inventory. They can buy the big screen now. They can serve impressions inside of the living room, and they may have not had the capacity in the past to be able to do that because they didn't have a relationship with an NBC or a Fox or someone like that. They were too small to really be able to do that or to participate in an upfront. Now they can serve those impressions. So it really just the sheer access to television inventory is huge for them.
So give us an idea of the scope of the programmatic side, the marketplace, the private marketplace, the RTB, sort of the scope of those activations.
Yeah, I mean, for us, when we entered television, we really looked to try to figure out where we could add the most value, and where we add the most value is when you can transact truly programmatically, meaning through RTB pipes. Can a bid request come in, we process the data, and we help our advertisers and brands make a decision against that. And when we looked across the landscape at linear or addressable set-top box inventory or at OTT inventory, we realized that the fastest growing segment was OTT, and it was also the place where we could make the most impact, where we could add the most value to our customers as a self-service buy-side tool. So the scope is really solely focused on that. That's really where we're looking to transact, is within anything that's internet enabled. I think what we see happening is that that inventory is coming online a lot faster, and it is, to your point, coming online through private marketplaces primarily. We don't see a ton really coming through open exchanges. I think just because of the nature of the relationships between a big holding company and a big TV media company that's been there for 40 years, it's kind of natural that a lot of this would transact through private marketplaces. So we're doing a lot to work with our clients and with our partners to figure out, well, how do we build those marketplaces together? How do we build them transparently? And how do we make it so that the buy side and the sell side can transact in the manner that they're looking to?
So how do you see this developing over the next 12 months, this sort of biddable marketplace for premium video advertising?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. So I think one thing that's happened over the last maybe 18 months or so is that you've seen a lot of the big broadcasters, the big distributors, really kind of everyone start to get more comfortable with just the general idea of surfacing their inventory to a company like ours through an SSP, in private marketplace fashion with our agency clients. I think over the next 12 months that will continue and that will scale up. And I think one of the big trends that you'll see is that there'll start to be kind of unique ways that the business terms start to transact. Meaning, we're thinking a lot about how do we start to replicate the things that maybe exist in the upfronts today. How do we take partial guarantees? How do we look at tracking a larger commitment for a holding company, across a bigger network deal? And how do we take that and sort of replicate that so that we can bring even more dollars into programmatic? So I think that's one. I think the other thing that you'll see over the next 12 months is there'll be a lot of collaboration and partnership on an identity standpoint, or from an identity standpoint. I think the biggest thing that's missing from really moving the market forward is the standardization around a currency. Obviously, traditional television has had their currency for decades. The programmatic ecosystem isn't quite there yet. There's all kinds of disparate devices and distribution endpoints and whatnot. So we're doing a lot to partner to try to solve that as well, which I think is when you really can move the market forward, because then you can transact on audiences at scale.